Hello, this is the second part to my emergency preparedness unit for my STEM Foundations class. And we go on Ready.gov. This is a Department of Homeland Security website, and it gives an idea as to what we can do to be prepared for possible emergencies. Now, some of those emergencies are all of them are listed here. It goes all the way from, maybe a power outage, maybe a tornado, an earthquake, to even worse stuff. And the nice thing is to be prepared for those things. You can do very much the same thing, and it includes building a kit. So to find this, I go to ready.gov, I scroll down and I see build a kit, and I click emergency supply list. Now you can also find it up here. I believe it was in make a plan, build a kit. Now I wanted to go through some of this and give you an idea of some things that you could do to be prepared in case there's an emergency, which it's always good to be prepared. So it says water 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days. So if you have a family of 4, that's 4 gallons a day. For 3 days, that's 12 gallons of water. So if we're looking at the information on here, let's look up a 5-gallon jug. And if we look at the 5-gallon jug, you'll notice this is a 5-gallon jug. You get them at Walmart, you get them at the grocery store. 5-gallon. If you wanted 12 gallons, that means you need 3 of these. That would be 15 gallons, and that would last you 3 days. Other sources of water, maybe you don't have it stored, you can always look at your hot water heater. And there's a couple of important information on this one. Your hot water heater, this is your hot water heater, not yours, but it looks like this. There's a valve at the bottom. You can open that up and you can get water. The problem is it'll probably be pretty rusty, so you're going to have to filter that. While we're looking at the water heater, there's this pressure relief valve. You're supposed to test it, I believe, once a year. A lot of people never test it. If this pressure relief valve goes bad, that can cause a really, really bad thing to happen. This can actually explode. So you want to test this. Kids, don't test this. Have your parents test it. The way they do it is they push this up, water will flow out of here. They close it, it turns off, they're good. If it doesn't let water out or it doesn't turn off, you need a new valve. Doesn't mean you need a new water heater, you just screw the new valve in. That needs to be tested. But there's a lot of hot water in here, up to like 50, 60 gallons sometimes. Other places, you could look in and this sounds gross, your toilet. You are not drinking the water from the bowl. That is gross. In the back of your toilet, in here, this is clean water, as long as there isn't mold or anything nasty in there, or if you use a toilet bowl cleaner, like your water's blue, you can't drink that water, okay? So water is a good thing. You can go about 3 days without water if you're just sitting there, and then you're in trouble. Food, at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. The United States government says the average American has 3 days worth of food. Just adding a little bit of extra food would really open up your possibilities if you're ever in an emergency situation. There's battery powered or hand crank radios. I love these. So if you just search Amazon or probably Walmart, look up hand crank radio. Now, one of the ones that really stands out to me is this one. I have this one. Yes, this is the one I have. Maybe this is the one I have. Whatever. It looks just like this. The cool thing with these are, and the brand, it doesn't, I don't think matter. But the cool thing about it is, and let me make this bigger. It's got obviously a radio. All right. It has volume control. It has the weather channels. So there's a radio frequency out there from the Weather Service, the National Weather Service, and it has emergency information as well as weather information. There's a built-in flashlight. There's a hand crank to charge it. There's also a solar panel, something that my students really, really like. There's also the ability to hook up USB and charge your phone. So if your phone is dying, you can charge it with this. And then if this runs out of power, you can hand crank it or put it in a window so it can charge. Now, I'll tell you, it takes a while to charge the batteries inside of this using this small solar panel as well as the hand crank. So it would definitely be in an emergency situation. But for $20, pretty cool thing to have. There's somewhere you can also put like AA batteries in there, and then you could use the charging port to charge your phone. So then you're using AA batteries or AAA batteries to charge your cell phone. A really, really cool option. Next thing, a flashlight, so you can see if you buy that battery powered one that's built in. A first aid kit. extra batteries, a whistle to signal for help. I know that when there was a tornado west of me a few years ago, someone was stuck in their basement. They were totally fine because they went to their basement when there was a tornado, but they were stuck in there, and having a whistle really helped them because yelling all day really doesn't help to, you can't yell that long, but blowing the whistle, not a big deal. A dust mask, plastic sheeting and duct tape. So in case maybe there was there's a bad storm or windows are broken out, now you need to cover up your windows. Moist towelette, garbage bag, and plastic ties. Maybe you're not able to flush your toilet. If the local water tower, and for those of you, just to make sure, for those of you that don't know what a water tower does, we fill them, not we, the city fills them typically at night. This fills up with water, and then when you turn on your faucet, the gravitational pull of all that water gives you water pressure. So when the water tower is empty, you no longer get water, even if there's water in your pipes. So obviously you can't flush the toilet then, and you don't want to waste your drinking water to be able to flush the toilet. A wrench or pliers to turn off utilities. Another very, very important thing. Let me show you the gas meter. This is not something that you should be doing unless it's an emergency. Say there's an earthquake. I hear about earthquakes in California, and then they have these fires. Now, I'm not talking about the forest fires that are started by lightning or by people accidentally or on purpose. I'm talking about if there's an earthquake, a lot of the times you get fires afterwards, and that's because natural gas starts leaking and natural gas lights on fire. This is the shutoff for a meter. You may have a digital meter. It's probably on the outside of your house. This is the shutoff. So if you don't pay your bill, they'll close this and put a lock through it. If there was an earthquake in my house, I feel that there might be damage or I smell gas leaking and I call 911 and they say, we can't get there soon because we have a lot going on. I would turn off my gas. You just turn this so it lines up. Do not turn this back on ever without calling the gas company and having them turn it back on, because you can cause a gas leak, or maybe there's a gas leak in your house. So only mess with this in extreme situations. If you didn't pay your bill and you cut that lock, you'll go to jail. So don't mess with this. But in an emergency, say there's an earthquake or a tornado and there's damage to your house, turning off the gas could really, really save a lot in your house, as well as electricity. Let me look up electricity meter. If we look at the meters, actually on the outside of your house, you can't really turn it off. So let's look at circuit breaker box. So if you are in your house, let's say my basement started flooding. It just started flooding. It's nowhere near my electrical boxes, because realize if the water gets to the point where it can hit my electrical boxes, like my plugs, I could get electrocuted. So if I think flooding is coming, I could turn off all the power to my house. Now the water would have to get all the way up to this level for it to hit the electricity. So turning that off early would be a good idea. Manual can opener for food, so you can open up that food. If you have food, it's good to be able to open it. Local maps, especially if you don't know the area. A cell phone with chargers and a backup battery. And then they have this recommended supply list that you can download and you could print off, or you could save on your phone or anything like that. Those are the major things that they suggest. The other ones that they suggest would be a little bit more related to specific things that maybe you have going on, like your medication or something like this. In this case, it says cloth face coverings for everyone ages 2 and above, right? We're currently in the pandemic, in the COVID. So wearing masks is a good thing. Protect yourself. Soap so you can wash your hand. Hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes and to disinfect surfaces. Make sure you're checking those wipes. Some of those wipes are just for cleaning a little bit. They don't actually kill any germs. So make sure you read on there that it can kill the germs. Your prescription medications, maybe some pain relievers, right? Don't take them if you don't understand what they are, but having pain relievers, other stuff like that, really good idea. Infant formula, take care of the babies in your house. Obviously, they can't help themselves. Extra diapers, maybe keep them in the basement, right? I have a spot in the basement I go if there were a tornado coming, tornado warning or a tornado watch, and I'm going to keep my extra diapers down there, maybe a little extra food and some water. Pet food and extra water for your pet and all that other stuff. So I suggest you going through this. And then another thing that you could do, you could look through the car safety one that they have, talking about food and water. There's also a plan ahead, and I think there's a really good one. And I'll have my students go through this. There was and I will, oh, right here, Ready Kids. All right. And this is some good stuff. Really, really good spot to look through. So check out the website. I hope you learned a little bit. It's not meant to scare you. Most of these things are not very likely to ever happen. They're not things you need to worry about. But the nice thing is, by being prepared, you have a lot less to worry about. So hopefully you learned a little bit. Hopefully this was worth your time. Stay safe out there and have a great day.